up and stretch. If you can keep it going for as long as you can. So finding your neutral alignment. If I'm seated, trying to sit up a little bit straighter, so see if I can get the space at the front of the belly, making sure that I'm not crashing the abdominal content into the diaphragm, preventing the diaphragm from moving, so preventing me from creating that nice relaxed belly breath. So as much space at the front as I can. If you're lying down, just allowing the mat to carry the body weight, keeping the legs bent or straight. And then notice where the breath is, as usual. If I feel that I'm in that kind of like, almost like a rush, the panic breath, at the top of the chest, to see if you can try and calm it down. Softening the front of the chest, relaxing the front of the throat, the neck, the shoulders. See if I can guide the breath down into the belly. Feeling the belly doming as I inhale, and then softening, relaxing as I exhale. So see if I can try and calm the nervous system, the body, using the breath. And then keeping that breath, that soft, relaxed breath going. Usual scan over the body. If I'm seated, feeling the pressure over the seat bones, under the seat bones, can I feel the same pressure right and left side? Am I slightly lenient? Am I slightly twisted to one side? Is my head centered? I'm not changing anything, just as noticing where everything is and how I feel at the moment. If I'm laying down, just to feel the back of the body. Is the pressure the same between the right and the left shoulder, between the right and the left hip? And then as I start feeling a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more settled, I'm going to start to working onto the neck. I'm going to start with a little rotation, just to testing the range on the neck. So I'm going to turn to look over one shoulder, come back to the center, and then I'm going to turn to look the other way. And then I'm just going to repeat a few times. The first couple of movements are always the stiff ones. And then as I keep moving, it starts getting a little bit easier. So I might be able to turn a little bit further, or at least with a little bit more ease. And then comparing right and left. So I feel when I turn to the right, there is no restriction. It feels easy. When I turn to the left, it seems to be a little bit stiffer. It might catch a little bit, or vice versa. I mean, the movement feels smooth on the left and then a bit restricted to the right. Making sure that the shoulders are not moving, so the movement is coming from the neck. And then see if we can try and release this, see if we can try and create a little space. I'm going to interlock the fingers, and then I'm going to reach them behind the neck. And then imagine your hands to be like one of those collars that you wear when you have a whiplash. It's trying to stretch your neck, it's trying to lift the head, lengthen the neck. So I'm going to place them around the neck, and I'm going to create a little traction into the neck. So whether I'm seated or laying down, it doesn't matter. Think of pulling the neck, stretching the neck a little bit longer. And then maintaining that traction, I'm going to start to looking up if I'm seated, looking back if I'm laying down. I'm going to keep that traction. I'm going to take 3 nose breaths in this position. So I'm going to breathe in through the nose and out. 2 and out. 3 and out. 3 through the mouth. 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to tap the chin to the chest to keep the traction into the back of the neck. So if I'm seated, I'll be dropping the head forward slightly. If I'm laying down, I'll be feeling the head slightly off the mat. And then from here, I'm just going to repeat the same. So 3 breaths through the nose. 1, 2, 3. 3 through the mouth. 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to take a deep breath in the middle. And then I'm going to rotate to the right, opening the arm to the right. Exhale back to the center, in through the middle, and then rotate left. Exhale back to center, in the middle, and rotating right. Exhale back to center, in the middle, rotating left, back to center, one more time on each side, in the middle, turn right, back to center, in the middle, turn left, back to center, and releasing back. I'm going to curl all the way back up. I'm going to look up, look back, and then I'm going to release back to the middle. I'm just going to give myself just a couple of breaths to reset in the middle, as I might feel a bit dizzy, especially if I'm sitting up. And then once that I feel that I've recovered, then I'm going to retest the rotation. So I'm going to turn to look around the right, coming back, and then turn to look around the left. So noticing if there has been any change, it might feel easier, it might feel harder, it might feel the same. Just going to try a few on each side. 4, 3, 2, 1. Easing back to the middle, and then I'm going to try and release along the side. So I feel the back of the neck feels a little bit more stretched. So I feel kind of like a little bit taller, a little bit longer. I'm going to see if I can start releasing along the side. So I'm going to drop the right ear down to the right shoulder. And then this time I'm going to hold it that way. So if you want, you can use your right hand and hook it around the side of the head and kind of like hold the head in that position. And then think of your left shoulder and the left arm. I'm going to take a deep breath in. As I breathe out, I'm going to reach that left arm down the side until I can feel a little bit more traction down the side of the neck. No pain. Then I'm going to ease that tension, and then I'm going to reach it again. Ease the tension, and then reach it again. Every time that you reach, think of kind of like a slightly change in the position of the hand. So I might go thumb in, I might go thumb forward, I might go thumb out, I might pull from the first 3, I might try and pull from the last 2 fingers. So see if you can try and find the position that gives you a nice stretch down the side of the neck. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then ease the pressure, ease the head back to the center. Resetting the shoulders. I'm going to bring the left ear to the left shoulder. I might use the hand to hold it in place. I might just keep it there without the hand. And then right arm reaching down the side. Feel that shoulder dropping. Feel that gentle traction down the side. Ease that tension and then reach again. 2, 3, 4, same as before, playing with the position of the hand, playing with the arm, just what happens if I push the arm slightly back, what happens if I bring the arm slightly forward, what happens if I stick the arm slightly out to the side. 3, 2, 1, and easing the tension, returning the head back to the middle, resetting the shoulders, and then same as before, retesting that rotation. So I'm going to turn to look over one side, come back, turn the other way, come back, turn the other way. And then again, noticing if there is any difference, easy or harder. 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, returning the head back to the middle. So there's a little bit more movement into the neck. Let's see if we can start coming down into the upper back. I'm going to stay with that lateral flexion. So I'm just going to start reaching down with the side of the body, then coming back, and then I'm going to reach down the other way. So think of a nice attention into the side of the belly that is allowing that little side to side movement. If you're lying down as usual, you might want to support the head as you're reaching from one side. Reach the arms back to the middle and then over to the other side. So making sure that the neck is not straining. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, and releasing back. Relaxing the shoulders, adjusting the back, but from lateral flexion, I'm going to move into rotation. So sticking the arms out to the front, I'm going to clasp the hands together or keep the hands slightly apart, and then I'm just going to start to swing the arms from one side over to the other. So if I'm on my back, I'll be rolling from one shoulder to the other shoulder. So nice and easy from side to side, massaging across the back. We'll see if I can get a nice stretch going at the back of the shoulder. If I'm seated, I've got more space. So I'm going to take advantage of the space that there is nothing behind, and I might actually be able to reach a little bit further around. But making sure that as you're reaching, the shoulders are still down. So it doesn't feel as if the shoulders are shrugging up. It doesn't feel as if the shoulders are coming up to the head. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, relaxing the shoulders, adjusting the shoulders and the back. And then I'm going to go into a little flexion extension. So you can use the ball, the pillow, you can just use the hands at the front of the chest. I'm going to start going into focusing on the flexion first. So I'm going to imagine my upper body to take the shape of the ball. So I'm going to press the ball into the rib cage. I'm going to try and wrap myself around the ball. And then I'm just going to ease back. This is only a little movement. See if you can feel it at the top of the back. So right between the shoulder blades, traveling up towards the base of the neck. Let's see if I can ease some of the stiffness away. If you're lying down, you might want to support the head with one hand so that again, the neck is not straining as I'm coming into that deeper curl. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, and releasing back, giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll. Hopefully I've got a little bit more movement. This time I'm going to focus on extension, so the opposite. So I don't need the ball. I mean, if you're lying down, you could try and put it between your shoulder blades, so putting it at the back so that you've got a little bit more space to extend. I'm going to push the chest forward, and then I'm going to try and extend up, as if somebody's hand was between my shoulder blades that were trying to push me forward and lift me up at the same time. So I'm going to try and create a nice lift at the top of the chest. Then I'm going to ease back into neutral, and then I'm going to try and extend up again. So still working on the thoracic spine. So if I'm laying down, I can stay down and just get the little lift to the top of the chest, or if I can, I might just pop the block or the pillow behind the shoulders, and then supporting the head, I'm just going to extend over the board, so creating a little bit more movement to there. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, and releasing back, relaxing the shoulders, releasing the back, and then I'm going to come down into the lower back. So starting off with flexion extension, I'm going to go into a little pelvic tilt. So I'm going to tilt the pelvis back. So if you're lying down, use the mat. I'm going to press my lower back down into the floor, and then I'm going to try and lift it away. I'm going to press it down and then lifting away. So see if I can create that gentle rocking forward and back from the hips. So imagine to have a little ball in the middle. I'm trying to roll it towards my navel, and then I'm trying to roll it towards my pubic bone. I'm trying to roll it towards my belly button, and then towards my pubic bone. So see if I can get that posterior and anterior tilt going, easing some of the tension from the lower back. If you're seated, exactly the same, just to see if you can be aware this time of the movement happening at the bottom of the spine. So the upper back is staying pretty much the same. It's just the lower back that I'm trying to move. So I'm going to roll back onto my tailbone, and then come right up onto my seat bones, go back onto the tailbone, and then up onto the seat bones. Little tension at the front of the belly to offer support. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, releasing the spine. I'm going to stay with the lower back, but this time I'm going into a lateral movement. So I'm going to get into the hip hitch. So think of a little string attached to your hip bones, right and left. I'm going to pull on the right, ease down, pull on the left, ease down. So if I'm seated, imagine to be kind of like walking your seat bones up and down on the chair. It's a little tension into the side of the belly. I can use the arms to offer a little bit more stability. If I want to make it a little bit harder, I can take the arms away. If you're lying down, keeping the back of the hips nice and flat against the mat. This time, see if you can get into that little side to side movement. So think of it like a little pendulum swinging from one to the other side, a very little movement. It's the same as you did for the anterior and posterior tilt, for the pelvic tilt. See if you can think of relieving any tension from the lower back. So I'm going to try and relax as much as possible. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, adjusting the hips back to the middle, just a little bit more movement down into the lower back. I'm going to see if I can start getting all of the spine to kind of like interact and to work together. So I'm going to go into rotations first. So I'm going to raise the arms to the front, hands together or hands apart. I'm going to shuffle the feet and the knees a little bit closer together. And then I'm going to start swinging the arms to the right, the legs to the left. With the head, I'm going to follow the arms. So I'm going to look around the right. Then I'm going to bring everything back to the middle. And then I'm going to push the legs to the left, to the right, and then turn the shoulders, the arms, and the head to the left. So think of that full rotation through the spine. So I'm rotating from the bottom all the way up to the top. So I'm going to try and get that full movement running through. So if you're lying down, feels a little bit easier as I can move the hips, as I can move the legs. If I'm seated, my hips are seated on the chest, so the movement from the bottom of the spine will be limited, but I can still encourage a little bit by kind of like driving the legs the opposite way as I'm turning, coming back and then turning the other way. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, relaxing the shoulders, releasing the hips, and then I'm going to start focusing more on hips and shoulders. So starting with the hip joint, first the thing I want the inner thigh to work. So I'm going to shuffle the legs a little bit closer, and then I'm going to put the pillow or the ball between the knees. And then from there, pick one leg. So it could be the right, it could be the left. We're going to be doing both anyway. See if you can focus on that leg, so on that single leg, squeezing into the ball. So I'm going to press in with that leg. I'm going to release that pressure, and then I'm going to press in again. So one leg is kind of like just holding the position. The other leg is doing all the squeezing, all the driving in. So see if I can get the connection into that inner thigh. Same as usual, using the hand to guide the leg in that direction. If I feel that the leg doesn't feel as if it knows how to get there, or it feels stiff. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ease in the tension. I'm going to try the same thing with the other leg. So I'm going to hold with the leg that has just been working, and then squeeze in with the other side. So same as on the other side, I might need to use my hand to guide the leg. See if I can just be aware of that tension on the inside of the leg. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I'm going to ease back to the middle, allowing the legs a little rest. So I know that my right side felt really good, my left side felt a little bit weaker, or vice versa. If I felt difference between the right and the left side, focus on the weaker side or the stiffer side. This time we're going to squeeze with both. So this time I want a nice even squeeze with my right and my left leg. So I'm going to press into the ball with both legs at the same time, and then I'm going to ease that pressure. I'm going to press and then ease the pressure. And then see if I can create that nice symmetric tension, so that I know that my left leg is a bit weaker. So I'll be paying a little bit more attention to that left side, making sure that it's really squeezing in, it's really working. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, And then last one, we're going to hold that squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Squeezing a little bit harder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Squeezing a little bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And releasing out. Relaxing the legs, releasing the inner thigh. I'm going to focus on the arms. Same as I did for the legs, I'm going to try and squeeze in with the arms. So I'm going to place the ball of the pillow under the right arm. So between the right arm and the right side of the rib cage. I'm going to keep the elbow bent. The fingers are pointing straight forward, straight ahead. The chest is nice and open. I'm going to take a deep breath in. Keep that opening through the chest. And then think of squeezing the ball into the side of the rib cage. And then I'm going to release. As you squeeze, make sure that that shoulder is not coming up, is dropping. So I'm going to try and drop and squeeze in. Release, drop and squeeze. If the arm changes position, so if it starts coming in slightly, the tension tends to come to the front of the chest. I want the tension to stay into the back of the shoulder more. So see if you can try and keep the fingers pointing straight forward at all times. So as I press into the ball, my fingers are pointing straight ahead. They're not suddenly pointing across to the other side. So if it's lying down, they'll be pointing straight up at the ceiling. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Easing the pressure, giving the shoulder a little bit overroll. I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. So tucking the ball underneath the other arm, bending the elbow, fingers pointing, or arms are pointing straight ahead. And then I'm going to squeeze the ball on the other side. Same as I did on the first side. Make sure that the shoulder is dropping away from the head, not shrugging towards the head. So see if I can keep a nice relaxed neck. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and release. Easing the tension off the ball, giving the shoulders a little bit overroll. It's a little bit more activation through the front of the chest and the back of the shoulder. I'm going to try and work on the outside of the hip of the leg. So this time I'm going to use my strap, my belt, and my band. I'm going to wrap the band around the knees. I can hold it with the arms. I can tie a little bow, a little knot to keep it in place so that it doesn't come undone. And then same as I did for the closing, I'm going to do for the opening. So with one leg, I'm going to hold. With one leg, I'm going to push out into the strap. Then I'm going to ease back. And then again, with one I hold, with the other one I'm going to push. Repeating on that same side. So think of a nice tension that comes from the side of the hip to encourage the leg to move out. And then I'm going to control it back. So if you've got the strap, see if you can kind of like put tension into the strap. And then I'm just going to ease that tension of the strap. Put tension into the strap and then ease the tension of the strap. Using the hand to guide the leg to the side. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and ease it back. Relaxing the leg, same thing with the other leg. So Holding with one and then pushing out with the other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and releasing back, relaxing the hips and relaxing the legs. And then same as I did with the ball, I'm going to get onto both legs. So exactly the same as I did for the reverse. If I felt that one leg felt a little bit weaker than the other, I'll pay more attention to the weaker side. And then this time I'm going to push out into the band with both legs. And then I'm going to ease back together. Squeezing out. And then easing back. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then last one, we're going to hold the tension. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pushing a little bit harder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pushing a little bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And releasing back. Relaxing the hips and releasing the legs. I'm going to undo the band if I've tied a knot or if I blocked it somehow, and then move it to the side. This is a little bit more connection into the side of the hip. I'm going to work over the top of the shoulder. So I'm going to take the arms to the side, and then I'm going to start going into a little lateral raise. So I'm going to swing the right arm out to the side and bring it towards the head as far as there is no pain in the shoulder. Then I'm going to control it back, and then with the left, I'm going to do the same. Same as usual, if the shoulder feels a bit restricted, a bit sore, I might just kind of like swing the arm slightly to the front. So see if I can find a nice movement that is not creating pain in the shoulder. If you're lying down, I'm going to do the same. Think of the arm hovering just above the ground. But again, making sure that the movement is not causing pain in the shoulder. 6. 5. Relaxing the jaw, relaxing the face, relaxing the neck. 3. 2. 1. And releasing back, giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll, and then I'm going to do a little front and back. So first thing, I want to try and work to the front of the hip. So if the leg is a little bit temperamental, as usual, I'm going to use the strap behind the leg. If you're seated, you might just reach with the hands. If I'm laying down, the leg is too far, so I'll end up kind of like straining the neck. So using the strap makes it more comfortable. And then I'm going to start lifting and lowering that leg. So bring the attention to the front of the hip with this thigh. See if I can feel those muscles contracting to pull the thigh up. And then I'm going to take it back down. So there's a little tension into the side of the belly on that same side to help me stabilize the lift. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and release it, relaxing the hip, relaxing the side, switching the band around to the other leg. If you're using the band, and then we're going to lift on the other side. So same as I did on the right, it doesn't matter if the leg doesn't quite lift off the ground, but see if I can at least try to think of the connection into the front of the hip. I want the front of my hip to close, to allow the leg to come up, to allow the foot to gradually pull away from the floor, pull away from the mat. And then I'm just going to relax and then try again. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and releasing down, relaxing the hip, but releasing into the leg, and then working in reverse to see if we can get into the back. And so, as usual, if I'm seated, I'm going to bring the feet just a little bit closer to the chair, and then loading the weight into the legs as if I was trying to stand up. So I'm going to come forward, weight pushing through the feet, and then I'm just going to ease my way back. Holding onto the chair, any surface that is in front of me as far as the table, and then see if I can get the little up and down hint. You're using the back of the hips to drive that lift. If you're lying down, we're going to go into bridge, so squeezing with the back of the hips. I'm going to drive, and then I'm going to drop back. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and releasing back, giving the legs a little walk, a little shake, making sure that the back of the leg doesn't feel too stiff, doesn't feel too tight. And then when you're ready, coming up into sitting. So if I'm lying down, it's going to roll over onto the side and then push myself up. I'll find a comfortable position for the legs that allows me to sit reasonably upright, leaning onto the arms, leaning onto something behind. And then think of the space at the front of the body. This time I don't want the space just into the belly. I want the space into the chest and into the throat too. So I'm going to try and stretch out as much as I can. So I'm going to start bringing the chest forward. I'm going to lift up. I'm going to roll the shoulders back. I'm going to look forward. I'm going to look up. I'm going to look back. And then I'm going to release, letting the chin drop forward, shoulders. I'm going to go as far as I feel I can drop, and then up again. Bring the chest forward, lifting through the chest, the shoulders back, shoulders down, looking forward, looking up, looking back, and releasing, coming forward. Open down. Last time. Extending up, size you can lift. Nice big opening down the front of the body. And then releasing back to the front. One hand on the belly, one hand on the back. Take a bow. Give yourself a clap.